My way is the right way. There is no other way. And this is, again, falls back to when you're breaking when you're young. Yeah. My breaking was the best breaking. Your breaking was whack. And, like I used to look at people like Paranoid Android and be like, that guy's fucking shit. What the fuck is that? And
circus trick shit.
Yeah, all that stuff. And now when I look back on all that stuff, I go, man, that was just them expressing themselves in that way. That was just the way that they wanted to do it. They didn't want to be the status quo. They were technically the punks. And when you look back at hip hop, man, those guys, like in the early days, they were the punks. That was the rebellion. You know what I mean? Like they had the punks in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's like, Boogie Brats is one of the greatest names. I mean, Breakers are brats.
Yeah.
Pose said this. That bratty culture, that like sticking your tongue out, that like that's what makes breaking the breaking. We are the antagonists who are technically protagonists.
Anti-heroes.
We're the anti-heroes, But that's the same. Again, it happens in a lot of other cultures. There's that breakaway thing. And as I was saying, like it's it is about catching wreck. And I always say this, it nearly rhymes. You're catching a rep. You know what I mean? So you're going out there to catch wreck, which is what you do every time you go out into the jam. You want to go out there and you want to get it. You know what I mean? You want to fucking like prove it and catch it and like destroy and do whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you are catching a rep. You're getting a reputation. People are like, who the fuck is this, man? This guy fucking came to the jam. Or this girl came to the jam and fucking stepped to everyone. And they didn't win every battle, but I remember who they were. And they did this move. And did you see their blah, blah, blah? And man, they were feeling the music. Like, who's that guy from Brazil right now?
Oh, yeah, that dude is fresh.
He went to Concrete Jam in Switzerland. He won last year.
I forget his name.
Man, everyone said, man, this guy's just the vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and this is what's great about all these different generations and different energies and whatever. I mean, why not even had that amazing era, with the top rock. I mean, he caught, he was fucking wrecking everyone with that shit back then, And
tops.
I remember, the what's the hat that he used to have on all the time? I can't remember the name. He did that with the hoodie, with the blazer, with the rocks that he embroidered on the back. You know what I mean? And it's not just about, and I say this as well. We go back to dressing, where I talk about this as well. You will know this as well, I'm sure, and I've spoken to a few people that you can remember the video or the jam. You remember what they were wearing, the color combo they had on that day.
That random dude in the background. Who you noticed or had one running in the edited clip of the jam. But at the same time, that's the recognition, you know what I'm saying, of like you saw something that resonated, that made that person stand out. Right.
And that's them with, and I'm not saying that, and this is the other thing, I'm not trying to say that, it's always spotlight that one person, blah, 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 because there are plenty of, cats out there that are amazing and aren't in the spotlight. And I'll say this about Rabani from Holland. He's one of the greatest breakers.
One of the greatest
ever to do it. And you say his name to most people, and especially younger people these days, they got no fucking idea who the guy is.
Who Rabani is.
They got no idea, man.
Even if he's in an old Red Bull BC1 somewhere.
Exactly. They'll be like, oh, who's this guy? Yeah. I'm like, man, the guy is one of the greatest breakers of all time. You know what I mean? Like, he just had it.
Yeah.
But people don't say his name. But again, this is also modern society. Everything is instant, on demand. People are forgotten a lot quicker than they used to be. And it's a lot harder to stand out because, there are so many breakers now. There are so many different styles. Yeah. And technically, the older people technically do have it easier because there was fewer people doing it back then.
True.
So it technically was easier for them to stand out. But,
But you know what it is too, bro? Like, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's all good.
But it's like the stronghold of commercial things right now.
Yeah.
Is so up there, bro.
Yeah.
Like underground. What's underground, man? Like what is underground these days?
Underground doesn't technically exist anymore. Right. There are a few people, I believe, trying to keep it alive. And there may be a renaissance of underground that comes in the future. But this is
when Google servers go down.
when the Great Reset happens.
Yeah,
And this is one
for
thing,
real.
and I don't want to sound like the old guy telling everyone how it was back in my day, but it was a lot harder. You had to either fly to a jam or have someone have the VHS tape of that jam, and you had to
Right.
know someone who would
Right.
like post it to someone here, who would then like you'd get two VHS if they let you copy the VHS.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't even let you copy it.
Wouldn't even let you borrow it.
Wouldn't even let you borrow it. No
Yeah.
way, man. That was like you can come around, watch it once, and then that's it. You're never seeing it again.
you
You know.
never see-
And you had to take. There was no watching it in slow motion. Let me drag the mouse. Oh, that's how they do the move. I'll just watch. I'll just go here, stop in my room, practice, drag the mouse. So it was a different time. It was a different era. Things weren't accessible, and this is what I'm saying. Like now, it technically is a lot easier. But you look at the standard of foundation of fundamentals from when we started, you know, like Flair was the king move, you know, you could do 10 flares or headspin and Flair. Now, Flair, headspin, it's nothing.
It's nothing. No,
whatever.
exactly.
It's nothing, whatever it is. But then, you know, the expansion of style is like, you know, again, you know, people who have just such specific style. And this is one person who I absolutely fucking think is one of the greatest styles, and people I still don't think caught enough Jews, is Steez from Japan.
Steez is the fucking
One of the
epitome,
greatest breakers
Ha.
fucking ever. And yes, some people know him and some people recognize what he does and see what he does.
Yeah.
But then what I'm saying, he isn't up there. He's not flown to comps. He's not in the Red Bull staff. He's da-da-da. And that's okay. This is the other thing, I don't want to say about breaking your breaking career, your breaking path, no matter whatever it is. A lot of people still focus on number one, the spotlight person. I have to be as good as Mano. I have to be as good as Kenny.
Right.
What's wrong with just fucking being good
Right.
and not getting to that stage?
And this is exactly it, bro. And that's the stronghold, you know, like
That's technically the new underground for me. This is what I'm trying to say. When you talk about the underground, the new underground is the people that still get down, aren't having a paid career technically from it, and you know they do make a living from it by either like teaching classes or doing instructionals, or they've created their own clothing brand. They've got a bit of momentum behind
to
it.
Steve's credit, he runs a business.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does. And like he's made, and this is what I'm saying, like he's still kept the essence, hasn't been put in one of the top, people call them the Illuminati and breaking, whatever. The blah, 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 blah. That shit's fucking...
It used to be Zulu, but not anymore.
blah, 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 blah.
Maybe still is.
Don't hate. Some people just get put in these positions and just let them run with it, man. If they're being flown everywhere, fucking let them be flown everywhere. You know what I mean? That's fine.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong, but just for me, the new undergrad is the person who's grinding. You know what I mean? Like they're grinding and they're being acknowledged by their peers, and they might not be on every commercial, Monster, Red Bull, such and such sponsored, program, blah, 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 blah. And this is not to say that, breakers who are in that program are not real. They're just being carried in that stream.
Right.
They're on the main river. And then there's these other little side streams or whatever flowing and still going and still providing life and sustenance and whatever to the dance and the culture. They're still doing that. But they're just not loud. And this is what I'm trying to say is like everyone, and I did it when I was a little bit younger, but I still also tried to look for the underground person, the person that was creating a difference, but it was harder. But now, like when we talk about like algorithms like Google or whatever, they only want you to focus on this person. They only want you to focus on this because that's when their advertising revenue data kicks in and goes like, oh, we get more in people engaging. And this is the basic human thing of you are blinded by the light. We're moths to the flame. People don't want to acknowledge it, but we're suckers.
Yep.
I've been tricked. I used to fucking, have 1,000 pairs of kicks and thought it was cool, and then realized it's just fucking material wealth that means fucking nothing and sneakers ain't shit.
But
I still love them.
You got the illest collection of kicks, bro. You could fucking
But I still, and to this day, I still love them.
Yeah.
And I know that it's part of capitalism and commercialism and all of these things, and you just have to accept that, like, that's the way that river flows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to get out, you can get out. You can swim to shore anytime you like.
it.
But people love being in that
No,
stream.
it's exactly because the light at the end of the tunnel is an Ethernet cable to the server.
Exactly. 100%.
And you know, like, bro, you've touched on like a shitload of like key points that I need to highlight. Like props, you know, getting your props and paying
So
your dues.
important. So
You know,
important.
Like, that's like a element of hip hop that is not mentioned these days. You know, like they'll talk about all the other stuff, which is the fundamentals, but props and paying dues, and then things like faking the funk, man. Like everyone from Maurizio to Stripes to all those names you mentioned and Steez, you know, like those dudes don't fake the funk. They
don't.
are the funk.
They are.
And what's funk? Funk is something that stinks like blue cheese. But do you
Yeah.
love blue cheese? I know I do.
With wings, blue cheese sauce.
Oh, don't,
You know?
don't put that spicy cough sauce on that
Exactly.
shit either, bro. That's the real. That's the real.
And again, it's like we're talking. You were saying the props. Again, everything is like a tool, you know. And again, it can be used for good or bad, you know. And some people, like you're saying, fake the funk, and you know, it's the flimsy tool. It's not going to get the job done, you know. Like you want precision, like you want precision, and the best that it is. Sometimes those people, they just got all the right tools and they're just doing it correct. They are creating the masterpiece. They're creating the statues of David or the painting on the what's Michelangelo's famous painting in the Basilica? I can't remember. Anyway,
forget the names,
those magic pieces of work. But what everyone forgets is all these other artists on the side who are still creating amazing work, who are still expressing themselves, who still have funk and still have blah, 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 but they're not being carried in that mainstream. You know, they're not being looked at in that certain way. But again, like I think the easiest analogy is still the music thing. Some songs are just so fucking catchy, you can't not tap your fingers. You can't not hum along to that melody.
Right.
It's like that breaker, you know what I mean? That breaker, you cannot look away.
Yeah.
They have something.
You
know, and there's nothing
fully captivating.
Well, technically, they become pop culture.
Right.
Their style becomes pop culture.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
They've done it. Everyone wants to do it. You know what I mean? It's like humans do it. Someone's got the haircut, like,
The schloof, the fucking...
The schloof, it was Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Then it was Brad Pitt and Angela. And then it's, now it's Harry Styles and some other girl. And young people dress like them, do their hair like them, I've dressed like breakers I looked up to. You know what I'm saying? There is this you do look up to people, but then again, it's all this about like I can't copy, I can't buy. It's a juxtaposition in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
But that's life, isn't it? That fucking
that's
duality, you know.
That's it. The duality, and the thing is, the duality. Just this is where I see the duality in probably breaking. It's like you said. There's faking the funk, and there's that genuine shit that you just can't. You can't fake it.
You can't replicate
it's so
it.
good.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be that duality. You know what I mean?
Right.
And most of us sit in the middle.
Right.
Yo!